Welcome to an old man giving young people advice. Old, young. I feel this is a little bit like something that should be said in this world of Linux versus Windows and all of that, and we can all get drawn into or sucked into the void or vacuum of we have to be anti this and pro that and hate them and hate that and stuff like that. I'm now going to tell you a little bit of truth, something that you will realize when you get a little bit older. And it's like, it really don't matter. Like proprietary software versus open source software, Windows versus Linux, Mac versus this, Windows versus that. It don't matter. It really, honestly don't matter. It really do. It's not, Windows is not, well, Windows have changed the world, but you running Windows, Linux, or Mac OS is not going to change the world. The only place that Linux can change the world in, and open source, is the development world. Anything outside of development, open source, operating systems, and stuff like that, means as much as a dog taking a random crap on a random fucking lawn somewhere where you don't know what's happening. It's just the fact of it. What you need to understand, and I'm kind of talking to the people that want to work or do something with IT in the future, or want to migrate into the IT world a little bit. I've kind of done that the last couple of months. I've been doing some projects with a company that's IT related, which is something that I have done in the past, but not to this extent. And when I did it in the past, I was one of those obnoxious Linux fanboys. Yeah, I was like, any obnoxious Linux fanboy you have seen up till now, I will guarantee you I was 100 times worse back in the day. I was like, if you listen to me talk about Linux like 15 years ago, you want to punch me in the face. Even Linux fanboys wanted to punch me in the face if they could listen to me back then. So I've been there, okay? But what I'm trying to say here is that if you want to do anything in IT, get your fucking ass to work on Windows. No matter how specific you want to narrow down your IT career, is like, I want to sit in a server room, freezing my nuts off, only working on Red Hat Linux. That's the only job I want. First of all, really, really congratulations with narrowing it down so much that it's almost impossible for you to get a job. But if you happen to get a job, I'm going to say something to you don't like to hear. You will still have to work on Windows machines. I think that if you ask, and again, this is just my personal experience here, but I honestly believe that if you ask anyone working within IT, or let's say, okay, the last year, have you only used Linux? You have never had contact or had to do anything with Windows or Mac OS. You could say that Mac OS, maybe they will say no, but Windows, they definitely have touched a Windows machine, done something with a Windows machine. They probably also done a little bit of admin work on a Windows machine. So if you are like I'm calling someone out here, the Linux cast philosophy that if you're not using Linux, I'm not going to help you do anything with you. You're limiting yourself. You're becoming unemployable. Imagine this. I have a company. We do mostly Linux stuff. We can do only Linux stuff, but we also work with people from outside the company. I'm interviewing you. And like, yeah. I see you like Linux and stuff like that. And you like go on a fucking rant about open source and free software. And Linux is the best thing ever. And Linux is going to give you a fucking sex robot in the future. Your girlfriends, boyfriends, I don't need flesh and blood. I just need Linux in the fucking head of a robot. And all my needs are satisfied forever, okay? You're going on and on about how it's fucking going to manipulate your penis because you're fucking it all the time. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. You know a lot about Linux, but accounting is using Windows machines. Can you help them out? No. Oh, we do this cooperation or collaboration with this company. They use Windows, so we need to make sure that our software talk with the Windows side and stuff like that. Can you help them figure out how Windows and Linux can talk to each other? No. Why would I do that? I'm a Linux guy. You would be kicked out the door faster than a fucking diaper that is really smelly. Like you would go going projectile out of the door. This whole fantasy, and it's kind of why I'm a little bit animated about this, because it's a really dangerous mindset to have is that it's Linux or nothing. That world will never exist, especially if you want to work within IT. If you want to do anything with IT, you have to understand and know Windows. It's unavoidable. Could there be a version of the future where Windows is not around and we don't need it anymore and all that shit? Yes. But we can't sit here and live in a fairy tale world that's not existing right now. Today, if you're going out to get a job in IT or want to work with IT, you cannot sit there and say like, yeah, Windows is going to die, but it's not dead yet. And you may be right, you may be wrong. But right now, today, and probably the next fucking 20 years or more, if you don't want to work with Windows, you don't want to have anything to do with Windows, you become more and more less employable. This is another reality that is stabbing a lot of the younger generation in the face. When you get a job, no matter how fucking great you think this job is, you are going to do something you don't like. That's the fact of it. There is no job where you sit down and for 8, 9, 10 hours a day is doing everything that you love to do. It will never happen. No matter what field you're going into, you will have to do something during the day that you fucking hate. Cleaning your fucking desk, mopping the floor, going to a shit ton of meetings, talking to this colleague that's fucking more irritating than fucking Hillary Clinton. You have to do something you don't like. It's unavoidable. There is no situation in life, and it also goes to relate, like, you can never go through life and only doing things you like. So you don't like to work on Windows, you don't like Windows, you don't like proprietary software, deal with it, grow up. You cannot live in a world where that happens, where you are like in this little cocoon where you don't have to interact with Windows or do anything with Windows at all. There are a select few people that probably are doing that right now, that are living in this cocoon. But here's the thing. They're like one of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. I see a lot of people using a lot of example of this. Oh, this guy or this girl is doing that, so I will. Well, for every one of those, there are hundreds or thousands of everyone else. A lot of people, and again, they go in with this whole us versus them and proprietary and Windows versus Linux kind of thing, is that everyone think they are the outlier. Oh, I can definitely go into a job and not have to deal with Windows. I can definitely go into a job and not having to do anything with proprietary code. Just like I can drink and smoke all fucking day and don't work out and never get sick. Because this grandmother or this grandfather or this athlete or whatever is doing it. Well, you're not an outlier. There's a reason why, when we talk about athletes, that not everyone becomes a fucking NFL star, NAB or basketball league. I can't fucking remember what it's called right now. You know, or Formula 1 driver. You need to be a really, really specific human being with a really, really specific set of fucking genes or DNA and drive to become that, or else everyone would be fucking a professional athlete. They're the outliers. They're not the norm. You are the norm. And I know it's really fucking difficult to get to grip. It took me many years to realize I was not special. And I was just a red shirt, you know. You and I, we are the nameless fucking extras in a movie that nobody gives a fuck about. We are the ones that are getting eaten the first by Godzilla in the first fucking scene, running out of the building while our back is on fire and Godzilla's just being a bloop. That's you and I. That's the world we live in. We are not the fucking superhero that's going to take over the world. You are not Elon Musk. You may sit at home and can live in a Linux and Windows only world. Or Linux only world, sorry. The second you step out the door and you go into an office, a server farm, or whatever the fuck it is, at some point during your work life, probably a lot of times, you are interacting with shit you don't want to. So I kind of laugh a little bit like these people. I live in a Linux only world. No, you don't. Have you been to the shops today? Have you used your credit card? Have you used an ATM? Have you used anything that is running servers in the back end? If you have, you more than likely have interacted indirectly or directly without you knowing it with a Windows system, FreeBSD system, and a Mac system during your day. Probably a fucking OS 2 system from the 90s. Just because you're Linux only at home, that don't mean that now everything you do is Linux only. So please get your head out of your ass about this Linux only world, and I will not go and doing this. You have anything to do with Windows, and Windows is the devil, and proprietary software is the devil, and all that shit. You are limiting yourself in the way that you cannot get a job, or it's really hard to employ you. You're basically talking like an activist. Nobody wants to hire activists because they don't fucking work. They sit on Twitter and bitch and moan all day. Dude, sometimes we have to work with shit we don't like. Sometimes we have to do shit we don't like to do at work. That's part of the job. That's what you get paid for. Then if they say, hey, there's a Windows machine over there, there's a Windows server that needs fixing, get your fucking ass over there and fix it. And you start to bitch and moan, boom! There are plenty of people that gladly will take your salary and work instead of you. Please don't become unemployed as a tech person. Or unemployable as a tech person. Especially if you're a Linux fanatic and an open source fanatic. Please shut your mouth about that, okay? Please. Please. Nobody wants to listen to it. Nobody cares. And you will have to work on Windows. It's just life. You know? You will have to interact with open source and I can't speak now. And proprietary software during your day. And this goes also for Windows people. I don't want to work on open source and Linux, but get over yourself. You're going to do the... What I just said about Linux and Windows goes all the way around. All the way around. There's a bigger chance that you can work in a company that's only proprietary and only Windows than there is companies with Linux and open source only. The world is one big mess. We are all doing the same shit. We are all working together. That's what makes the world work. If you're that fucking idiot sitting in the corner just wanting it all your way, you're getting ostracized. You are not part of this world anymore. That means that you can't get a job. I feel a little bit scared when I see people in my comment section that want to go into IT and then they are going mental if they see a Windows machine. They are peeing and pooping themselves. Or they are getting a fucking Karen outbreak on the size of a fucking tsunami if they see someone using a proprietary software on a Linux machine. If that's the attitude you have when you want to find a really well-paying job or a job at all, you will more than likely not get it. This is an old fucking idiot trying to help you out. See you all later. Bye bye.